This is a battle in the blue tournament between Achilles of the Agony clan against Highamacus, and Highamacus is currently an apprentice in the SITH clan. Achilles is commanding Arverni. I believe Highamacus picked the map and the faction, then Achilles countered with Arverni. Arverni is a decent faction against Galatia. Depending on the map, Arverni's chosen swords are going to lose to Galatian legionaries, but Arverni can bring Oathsworn, and Galatia lacks one thing, that is an abundance of mid-tier cav. Well, they lack two things, an abundance of mid-tier cav and elite swords. So, Achilles has 4 heavy horse in the back, Oathsworn, then he has a total of 5 chosen swords, 2 more Oathsworn way over here in the forest. Looks like he's going to go for an MLG ambush. 2 heavy horse, 2 levy freemen. In his front line he has 4 levy freemen to block charges, a very good choice. Blocking charges and keeping away cavalry. Can't really see Highamacus' build yet, so I'll go over it when we can see it. The map is Alexandria. Alexandria is a hot map with a lot of forest. The player on the defender side is going to have this nice river that's going to slow down enemy units significantly. It's also going to make charges less effective, so cavalry is going to take a long time traversing this stream in the forest. If it gets caught out there in the water by levy freemen, for example, it's GG for the cavalry. Now this is a decent map for infantry because of the forest that makes cavalry less effective. Still, cavalry, you are probably going to want cavalry to stop charges and to go for rear charges. Those cavalry rear charges in the late game can be devastating. So Galatia is very predictable. For Highamacus, he has brought 6 Galatian legionaries. His general is a Galatian nobleman. He has 1 Galatian nobleman on each side. He has his Galatian swords in the front ranks. I'm sure he has a bunch of levy freemen as well. Cappadocians, very good against heavy horse. They have heavy mass, they have very high melee attack, made better by their bonus versus large. So they will defeat heavy horse. Heavy horse is going to do a lot of damage to them, but the armor of 60 on heavy horse, compared to the armor of 70, the higher bonus, the higher attack value for the Cappadocians, means that the Cappadocians overall are a more dangerous cavalry unit to enemy cavalry. So keeping his Cappadocians in the front here is Highamacus. We can't see Highamacus' entire army now. It's going to be difficult for Highamacus to find an angle of approach, because the entire front line of Achilles is full of levy freemen. And he also has this, and on maps like this it can be a very good idea to scout. Bring 1 horse skirmisher. It has a resistance to heat, so bring it around and scout, so that he could, for example, have discovered this ambush here. And if he would have engaged this way, for example, he's going to vastly increase the distance until the flanking force arrives. So since he can't really see what Achilles has deployed here, it could be a very, very important for him to discover these hidden units here, because if his entire lines are engaged and 2 heavy horse units start crashing in from the rear while Oathsworn are rolling up the flanks, that's going to be disastrous for Galatia. With these barbarian fights, everything depends on getting good charges. Achilles is pulling back here, which is going to pull Highamacus in. He sees that Highamacus wants to engage, and that is going to decrease the distance Achilles has to move to flank with his forces here. So this is smartly done by Achilles. Highamacus should probably be suspicious at this point because of what's happening. Arverni refusing to engage and pulling back, that's a dead giveaway that there are some shenanigans underway. Levy freemen on the flanks, and having these 2 levy freemen on the flanks means that Achilles has the levy freeman advantage frontally. Might have been a good idea for Highamacus to keep his levy freeman up front and his Galatian swords on the flanks. No Syrians, presumably because of the forest. These Galatian nobles are going to do a decent job against chosen swords. Not really cost effective though. They have decent melee attack and weapon damage, but they are so expensive. And these units should become visible for Achilles soon, but it's almost too late because they are behind. Now they are behind the lines of Highamacus here. And at this point, Highamacus should probably just withdraw and reorient his lines this way. So, but he's going to do the opposite. He's going to charge straight in. Levy Freeman incoming, and as this happens, disastrous for Highamacus. Here comes the flanking force while he's engaging, and Highamacus is making a cardinal mistake here. He's sending in his Galatian legionaries. He doesn't even have attack orders. He's going to just walk them into these Levy Freemen. So he just lost the charges on all his units. His Cappadocians got into the heavy horse here, being followed up by Levy Freemen, but Highamacus didn't get charges on his entire sword line, while Achilles is going to get charges with his entire sword line. So at this point, Highamacus has basically lost. It's made worse by the Levy Freemen being able to throw javelins on these Cappadocians and the heavy horse rushing into his rear. But just Highamacus not getting his charges is basically enough to cost him the battle here. These chosen swords are racking up the kills, getting monster kills here against the Galatian swords and the Galatian legionaries. And on the charge, Galatian legionaries should do much better than chosen swords. That is just not the case here. Heavy horse getting attacked by Galatian noblemen, but they're able to inflict a lot of rear charge penalties here. And the flanking force has arrived. Heavy horse and Old Zorn are going to destroy mercenary Cappadocian cav. Nothing to contend with the cavalry of Achilles in the back lines here. So these rear charges are going to be happening for days. The Levy Freemen, a clear indication that these units did not get a charge is that the Levy Freemen of Achilles are still alive and well and fighting. So Achilles just Highamacus just messed up his main engagement royally, and although his legionaries are vastly better than chosen swords, he just did not get like 7 kills on Galatian legionaries here. Standing in shield wall, but they're not really killing anything. And these Galatian legionaries are doing a horrible job. And Highamacus is just being picked apart on the flanks. His Levy Freemen getting surrounded by heavy horse. This Cappadocian is amazingly enough still alive, but it is losing to the heavy horse now because it was fighting Oathsworn earlier. And even though I mean, the Galatian legionaries, they're holding well against the chosen swords for not getting their charge bonuses. They are much better units. But this battle would have looked very different if the charges had happened from Highamacus. If he had just charged in his swords, waited with his legionaries, then he would have done massive damage to the chosen swords. And it's questionable whether the flanking force of Achilles would have arrived in time. I actually think it would have, but due to the Galatian nobleman, Highamacus is going to be able to wrap up the flanks, and you can see how well these chosen swords are attacked in the rear for some reason, because probably these Galatian legionaries, these Galatian legionaries did a nice job in moving around. The Oathstone general is not doing great here against the Galatian legionaries. Galatian legionaries are very, very capable troops in a long, drawn-out fight, match for price against Oathsworn. But the Galatian nobleman general is up against Oathsworn, so that is not a good time for him at all. And like I said, this game was over when Highamacus didn't get his charges with the main line and when he got flanked. So, two very important things. We're not really able to see the killing potential of Galatian legionaries here because they did not get their 28 charge bonus off against. He might have gotten a charge or 2 off, but he definitely didn't get good charges with his entire line. But Achilles had a very smart setup here. He was able to engage when Highamacus, it looked like Highamacus wasn't ready to engage. And that's going to mean that's going to mean that Achilles is just going to destroy the flanks, eventually destroy the center with these 3 Oathsworn flanking in. Highamacus won on this flank due to his Galatian noblemen, but at this point it's not really going to be enough, because there are very strong units left on the field for Arverni. Especially the 3 Oathsworn units, they are doing fine. The Galatian noblemen, they're not doing a horrible job here. They're actually getting some nice kills, but up against the Oathsworn, they're not going to be able to do too much. The Oathsworn are exhausted though, so the Galatian noblemen are only tired, so that is going to reduce the gap in melee attack between them at least. In the center here, in the forest, we have a barbarian brawl. But the Galatian legionaries, although they are holding like absolute bosses here, their kills are not impressive. Galatian swords still alive here with 102 kills, but they just got attacked in the rear. And this is why heavy horse, even depleted heavy horse, is so dangerous. It can't just break units by rear charging in the late game. It looks like the Galatian general is about to die. And when he dies, we should see a lot of the Galatian units start having problems. The general isn't dead yet. He just shattered. So the penalty for the general being off the field and dead is only going to be in effect if the general actually dies and when he makes it off the field. So the general might actually make it out of here, and it looks like he will. So in situations like this, it might be a good idea to send one unit to chase down the general to make sure he dies, because these penalties haven't started affecting the Galatians yet, and they are being inspired by this unit of Galatian nobles that's getting a lot of kills actually. Galatian legionaries charging the general of Achilles in the center, but Galatian legionaries still fighting the chosen swords, getting a lot of kills now. They are, like I've said before, they are much better units than the chosen swords of Arverni, but still just not enough units left for Highamacus. And we should see a massive difference in kills in terms of chosen swords versus Galatian legionaries here, and that is only because Achilles got the better charges, and he was also able to flank very effectively with his cavalry and his Oathsworn. Very smart setup by Achilles there. A costly victory. He didn't kill significantly more. Well, obviously it was significant since he won, and Highamacus deployed more men. But looking at the kills here, these kills on Galatian legionaries, considering what they were up against, they are absolutely atrocious, because the charges just didn't happen. 2 levy freemen with over 100 kills for Achilles. They did kill other levy freemen, so there's that. The Galatian nobles were able to get some kills, but again, not getting the good charges, just wrecks them. And this type of Galatia build can have very real problems dealing with Oathsworn if the Galatian legionaries are not able to win the center and support fights go 2 against 1 against the Oathsworn units. Then Galatia is really going to struggle, and I would have liked to see some horse skirmishers on the field. They can do massive damage to heavy horse, maybe even a Syrian archer or 2 for the late game. Cappadocians, definitely keep them in there. You need something to counter the heavy horse of the Boii. Noble horse general could be nice, a bit risky as well. He dies very easily to precursor javelins and such, but and of course Achilles brought the 6 levy freemen, so it was basically a GG at that point. But very nicely done by Achilles. Highamacus is now down 0-1. Achilles is in the lead. This is a best of 3 series, so we will have at least 1 more game, possibly 2 more games. Strength and honor.